to ensure that all our listeners across the state, both English-speaking and non-English speakers, can also enjoy the program. Nítorí yẹn ni màá ṣe máa kí n pé ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ fún ti ọ̀sán yìí lórí ìkànnì kànga gbọ́mágbẹ̀ Wells Radio 89.3 FM Aláàfin Avenue ní Olúyọ̀lé Estate nìbàdàn. Níbẹ̀ ni a ti ń gbóhùn sáfẹ́fẹ́ káàkiri ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Òun náà lẹ ti lè láǹfààní láti máa gbọ́ ètò ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Lórí ètò yìí láti máa ń tẹ́ pẹpẹ ọ̀rọ̀ tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú ìpínlẹ̀ wa. Bẹ́ẹ̀ mi ṣe máa ń sọ lórí ètò ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́, àfi tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá ní nǹkan kan ṣe pẹ̀lú ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ rárá, bóyá ẹ̀ léèyàn tó ń gbé bí, bóyá ẹ̀ nílé ń bí, bóyá ẹ̀ lọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ ń bí, àbí ẹ̀ nílé iṣẹ́ ń bí nìkan lètò yìí ò ṣe pàtàkì sí yín. Ṣùgbọ́n tó bá jẹ́ pé olùgbé ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ òun lẹ́yìn, tí iṣẹ́ yín wà ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́, òun tẹ́ fi ń ṣọrọ̀ ajé àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ tó wà ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́, orí ètò yìí òun gangan lètò yín. Ara àwọn abala tá a ní lórí ètò yìí láti máa ń fún gbogbo olùgbé ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ pátápátá láti ní àǹfààní láti lè bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àdúgbò wọn. Ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ó tóbi, ìlú Ìbàdàn tó jẹ́ olú ìlú ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ gan òkèrè, tàbá ní ká máa wo bó ṣe tóbi tó. Nítorí náà nígbà míì àwọn ohun tó yẹ kó dókè ní kíákíá kì í sábà débẹ̀. Torí náà la ṣe máa ń fún yín láǹfààní pé ká fi rédíò ṣe fún ìdàgbàsókè àdúgbò wa àti agbègbè wa. Ohun tó bá jẹ́ nǹkan ìpèníjà tá fẹ́ kí ìjọba ó dìde sí lọ́lọ́kan-ò-jọ̀kan ládùúgbò wa. Lórí ètò yìí náà láti máa ń fún yín láǹfààní láti pè wá wọlé. Tẹ̀yin bá dẹ̀ ti pè wọlé, ẹ láǹfààní yẹn láti lè bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àdúgbò yín. Bá ṣe máa ń ṣe nìyẹn lórí ètò ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ lọ́sọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀. Let me also remind us that you can watch us live on our Facebook page. That is if you are not currently listening on radio, you want to put a face to the voice, or you just want to move around, or you're traveling outside of Oyo State and you want to enjoy the program, please join us on our Facebook page, Wells Radio 893 FM fan page on Facebook. That's the link or the handle where you can connect with the show on Facebook. From anywhere in the world, you can also listen to us online on our website, www.wellsradio893.com, or go to Radio Garden, Wells Radio 89.3 FM. That's our name on Radio Garden, and you can join us to look at issues. Nítorí náà, tó bá ní nǹkan kan tí ẹ̀yin fẹ́ kí ìjọba Ọ̀yọ́ kàn dìde fún, bóyá títí àdúgbò yín ni ò dáa, kò sí ilé ẹ̀kọ́ tó dúró re ládùúgbò tiyín, kò sí ilé ìwòsàn primary health care center ládùúgbò tiyín, àbí ètò ààbò àdúgbò tiyín ló ti mẹ́hẹ̀, no security situation or security structure whatsoever, whether police posts or Amotekun or anything, and security is already a concern in your community, you can call the radio station all through the program. Let us know, and then we'll speak to you, note it on our own end here, and we would also give you the opportunity àfún yín láǹfààní kẹ́yìn náà farabalẹ̀ sọ fúnra ara yín kí gbogbo olùgbé ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ bá lè gbọ́, kí ìjọba Ọ̀yọ́ kan bá lè gbọ́, kí àtúnṣe kó bá lè wá. Ẹ jẹ́ n fi ojú òpó tí ẹ lè pè síta láti sọ̀rọ̀ sókè nípa ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní agbègbè yín. 0916-893-1000, 0915-3334-893 tàbí 0911-33893. Àwọn ojú òpó tí ẹ lè fi bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ ní ọ̀sán tòní nìyẹn. Lórí ètò ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ fún tòní, a ní àlejò. We have a guest. Both will be joining us. One will be joining us via telephone in a moment. Àwọn náà àwọn darapọ̀ bọ́ wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀. Máa jẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ wọ́n láìpẹ́. A tún ní àlejò kan náà nínú ilé, bó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ pé lórí ìkànnì yìí wọn kì í ṣe àlejò, àmọ́ lórí ètò ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àlejò ni wọ́n. Ẹ jẹ́ n kọ́kọ́ jẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ àlejò mi tó wà nínú ilé lórí ètò kí n tó gbé àlejò mi tó wà lójú òpó àwọlé káwọn náà bá lè bá wa sọ̀rọ̀. Olóyè Ọlálékan Sanni, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chief. Ẹ kú ojúmọ́ yàrá alẹ́.
Ẹ ṣeun gan o, tẹ́ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lórí ètò ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́.
Iṣẹ́ ìlú ni kò ṣe máa ṣe.
Ẹ ṣeun gan, thank you so much. Àlejò wa tó máa darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ wa on our telephone line, that is Mrs. Bolanle Sarumi. She's the first gubernatorial female candidate, in Oyo State. Ní ìtàn ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àkọ́kọ́ tó máa jẹ́ obìnrin tó máa díje fún ipò gómìnà ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àwọn ni Mrs. Bọ́láńlé Sàrùmí tásìkò bá ti tó máa gbé wọn wọlé àwọn náà bá wa sọ̀rọ̀. But let's look at our issue very, today before we dive into the conversation. The Ayo State Government House has remained largely unused since the beginning of Governor Seyi Makinde's administration. That's over 5 years now. And the governor, has chosen not to reside there, a decision many people may consider modest or cost-effective. However, just recently, a new announcement changed the narrative. The same government house is set to undergo renovation, not with a few millions, but with a proposed budget of 63.4 billion naira. The figure, as expected, has stirred reaction across the state and online, raising questions about priorities, governance, and the pulse of the people. In Torino, Loreto, Losonyi, we're going to be taking a closer look at, that figure, 63.4 billion naira. This is coming amidst, of course, rising cost of building materials, whether we like it or not. Exchange rate is also on the rise. But again, I said something about feeling the pulse of the people. This is inside Oyo State. Lórí ètò yìí nìkan lọ́sàn-án ọjọ́ míì lọ́sàn-án Monday ìgbà míì gbàgbà ìpè nípa títí wa ọ̀dà kò da àlègbà mẹ́wàá ní àwọn àdúgbò lóríṣiríṣi ní ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ káàkiri ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́, and so on and so forth. If you look at so many other issues in the state, we can continue to say, oh, this should be done rather than this. This should be done rather than this. But before we get, I'll let Mr. Olali Kosoni start the conversation, and before I bring in Mrs. Bolanle Sarumi, Oyo State government internally generated revenue performance, hit 65.2 billion in 2024. That is according to the Federal Inland Revenue Service, 65.28 billion. All right, that is in 2024. However, the Oyo State government recently announced that they will be using 63.4 billion for renovation to mark the 50th anniversary, of the state. This statement was made by Prince Dr. Oyelade in the state capital and described the current state and ambience of the government house as an embarrassment and befitting facility. It's facility that is not befitting, for everyone to see. Before I let you come in, Mr. Olale Kosoni, I want us to listen to a statement made by Mrs. Bolanle Sarumi. And then when we come back after that, we listen to that of the governor. And I'll let you weigh in and then put Mrs. Bolanle Sarumi live on the telephone line so we can, have this conversation this afternoon. It's still inside Oyo State. Ni ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́, ẹ má gbé kúrò ńbẹ̀.
18th of June 2025, we got news that the Oyo State Executive Council had approved 63.47 billion for renovating the government house. Let's be clear. Oyo State's internally generated revenue for 2024 stood at 65.28 billion. Yet in one sweep, the government has committed nearly the entire yearly IGR to a single renovation project. Let's reason this. Does it make sense? If I were the governor of Oyo State, I would never approve 63 billion of public funds to renovate a building that has remained largely unused for 6 years, especially when the governor and the deputy governor have lived in their private residences throughout their tenure. Instead, I would leverage strategic public-private partnerships. I will convene a roundtable with leading banks, construction firms, and corporations operating in Oyo State. I will challenge them to take ownership of renovating different wings of the government house. In return, each wing could be named after them in recognition of their support. This is how governance should work. Be innovative, be inclusive, and be physically responsible. A better way to spend 60 billion, let me give you. With 60 billion naira, we can empower 20,000 entrepreneurs across Oyo State with 3 million naira each. That is 600 entrepreneurs per each local government. These empowered business owners will be legally registered and added to the state's tax net. Each will be contributing minimum of 10,000 naira monthly. This will give the state a monthly income of 200 million naira and an annual income of 2.4 billion naira. Now, this is an economic ripple effect. This kind of spending isn't just economic, it's actually visionary. It builds communities, reduces poverty, and will create jobs. What does a lavishly renovated government house do for a common man? Nothing. My candid advice, as someone who loves the state, that's deeply invested in the growth, I respectfully urge His Excellency Governor Seyi Makinde to review this decision. This is not the time for such heavy spending on buildings that will be unoccupied in 2 years. It is a time for legacy thinking, people empowerment, and economic impact. When the late Governor Ajumobi was in office, may so continue to rest in peace, our Governor Seyi Makinde gave him candid advice and possible solutions for a better Oyo. I hope this administration will allow so. This is my sincere advice as Basa, a daughter of the soil.
If you see those big figures, people may say, but are we spending a dollar here? Well, we import quite a bit. Even if you want to construct a 1 kilometer of road, we do not make asphalt in Nigeria. They import asphalt into this country, even though Nigeria has the second largest bitumen deposit in the world. To manage our exchange rate is not for me to determine in Oyo State. It's on the exclusive list. It is the federal government that has the responsibility to manage our exchange rate.
Welcome back, Káàbọ̀ padà sórí ètò ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ lórí ìkànnì Kànga Gbọ́mágbẹ́ Wells Radio 89.3 FM. Olóyè Sonny, let me get your thoughts before I then bring in Mrs. Bolanle Sarumi.
Thank you very much. I listened to our voice and also the voice of the governor.
All right, I think we have all right, good afternoon, ma.
Hello, afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon, Ayo. This is Ayo on the line. And am I speaking with Mrs. Bolanle Sarumi so I can confirm to the good people of Oyo State?
Yes, please. This is Mata.
All right. Good afternoon, ma. Thank you so much for your time. I'll put you on the line for a moment. We have a public analyst in-house, Mr. Olale Konsoni. He's also going to be weighing in, and I'll come to you in a moment. Please stay on the line and also be a part of our conversation before I come to you in a moment. All right, sir.
I listened to the governor, and in all seriousness, the governor is not communicating to me. Let us put a dollar tag on the figure he has budgeted for renovating the government house. And we're talking about upwards of $40 million. That is insanely huge. Insanely huge. I went online to check some things. And I can tell you free of charge that the most expensive house in Houston today is around $11 million. The most expensive house in all of Atlanta today is around $12 million. Potomac is a city in America where you have who is who in America, and the most expensive house there goes for around $9 million. So going by American standard, the governor is doing what they do not even understand in America. And I heard him say something about exchange rate. They are not spending CFA or Naira in America. They are spending in dollars. And what they are using to build or sell the most expensive building in the city is a fraction of what the government is saying. It wants to use to renovate, not build, renovate an existing structure, which should be a fraction of what you should use to buy yourself or build afresh. Let's now come back home. I spoke to some contractors, and I also did my job, did some research as well. To build a healthcare center costs between 30 and 60 million naira in Nigeria's naira and kobo of today. Let's even say
that's a primary healthcare center.
Healthcare. Let's even say it's 60 million naira. To build a general hospital goes for somewhere between 200 and 1.5 billion. Let's now say you want to build a specialist hospital in terms of, that's going to take care of cancer, advanced medical sciences. We're talking about upwards of 2 billion, let's even say 4 billion naira. We have 3 senatorial districts in Oyo State and 13 federal House of Reps constituencies. Let's say you want to build a healthcare center, a primary healthcare center, let's even say it's 60 mil. 60 multiplied by 10, that's 600 mil. Multiplied by 100, that is 6. That is 60 multiplied by 10, you have 600. Multiplied by 100, you have 6 billion. So with 60 billion naira, you will be building at least 1,000 primary healthcare centers. And that's the maximum figure because it's between 30 and 60. With 60 billion naira, you are building 1,000 primary healthcare centers. How much does a school go for? If it's just a block of classroom, we're talking about $10,000, which is around 15 million. If it's an advanced primary or secondary primary school, we're talking about, let's say, $100,000, and that's going to be 150, 160 million. You are going to have multiple folds of, let's say, 400 primary schools, new schools that you're starting afresh. And the governor is saying he wants to use that type of money to renovate the government house. It is a shame on the governor that throughout last year, Oyo State did not generate more than 65 billion. I cannot understand that. The land is there, the weather is there. 33 local governments, and you're talking about 65 billion naira. That's shameful. But let's leave that aside. Last year, you generated 65 billion. This year, you're using 63.4 billion to renovate what the average citizen of Oyo State can never enjoy. That is not making sense to me.
All right, let me come to Mrs. Bolanle Sarumi. And I must commend you, Ma. Mrs. Bolanle Sarumi, just like I introduced earlier, she's the first of its kind in Oyo State, the first female to contest for the office of the governor. Yes, Ma, a lot of people, I saw your video on TikTok. I saw the video on TikTok, and we played a part of the video shortly before putting the call through. Where you gave this in-depth analysis of how you think the governor or the government of Oyo should spend this 63.4 billion. But some people might say, well, probably because she contested for election in the states and didn't win. That's why she's making this statement. Help us make sense of your stand as why you think the government of Oyo should channel this money to other quarters rather than renovation of the government house. Hello, Ma, are you still there? Hello?
Hello, Mr. Ayo. How
Yes,
are you, sir?
can you hear me?
Yes, it's a bit faint.
Okay, but
Not so loud.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question
ahead.
is, you contested in the last in the last election, right? And yes, a lot of people would say, because I saw your video and we played a part of that video before coming into the show, before bringing you on, where you gave your analysis on how you think the government of Oyo should spend 63.4 billion naira. However, this is, towards 2027, almost all statements now attempt political. How do you explain that this is not a political statement? Let's understand your stand on why you think the government of Oyo should not spend this money the way, it has been marked for.
So basically, when I saw the news, I was shocked. If I remember His Excellency Governor Seyi Makinde, whom I worked for almost 2 years, he's been a prudent man. He even used to say it, and people are saying I'm prudent, and I'm like, yes. And we like it like that because we need a leader that's going to manage our funds properly and will not waste it on things that are not needed. You will have various cabinet members who are looking forward to some projects that are not needed, projects that are not, what will be beneficial to the people. So when I saw the news, I was like, no, I have to say something about this because this doesn't sound like the Governor Seyi Makinde I know. While I worked for him, I never came up with any big project. I never asked for funding for any major thing. I even went out and reached out to organizations to support, the humanitarian project we did, so that way our government will not need to spend so much. And that's the system I left behind. And when I now saw 63 billion plus on renovation, or even if it's rebuilding, I can assure you, even if they start the project today, there's no way they will finish it in time for even the governor to enjoy living there. So if I wasn't saying it as a concerned citizen, if I know that, yes, I'm going to be the governor in 2027, I'll be like, yes, make it nice for me. I'm coming there to enjoy it in 2027 when I win my election. But of course, I have to speak as a daughter of the soil, as someone who wants the best for the people of Oyo State. This amount is too much, Excellency. I am sure you've seen the video. We would like a proper response, and we want him to also revert that decision. There is no urgency in renovating any government house. If you want to celebrate, Oyo State, let's celebrate it as empowering people. And the empowerment should be done transparently. Even the youth, His Excellency sent to Nasarawa a few years ago. We all went there to learn about how to become, 2025 agriculture farmers, right? Why don't we give them equipment and tools for them to further the knowledge they learned in Nasarawa a few years ago?
That's interesting. The governor said something at the State of the Nation broadcast, the State of the State broadcast, the one had at the State House of Assembly, and a part of that, he made reference to exchange rates. And again, I want to put this side by side. A lot of building construction, is also going on in Oyo State. And if you ask the average man building at a time like this, they'll also let you know, things are on the high side when it comes to building. Are you looking at this also as regards the figure? Because the governor is saying, the exchange rates, we import, quite a number of things that will be in the government house. I want you to also look at that as against probably the figure, that the governor, reeled out, or the state government reeled out here.
So I can't hear you well. But what I can gather, it sounds like His Excellency has made a lot of money for the state, which is very, very good of him. Our idea has increased greatly from what it was before he became governor. But I continue to urge him that he should please use that money to empower the people, or renovate more primary health centers. There are many roads, dilapidated roads and buildings. There are many, many things we can do with that money, not renovating the government house. It's not a matter of urgency, please.
Let me get your view in on this. What practical framework should be in place to ensure that, large public projects like this undergo proper public scrutiny that reflect transparency, both, cost and impact? What do you think should be in place to ensure that public projects like this undergo proper public? We lost that call. I'll come to Mrs. Sarumi quickly, but let me get your view on this. Or your people at this time, yes, we've been getting so many, feedback here and there as regards to spending. What do you think should be in place, really, as such? For the public to be able to properly scrutinize this. All right. Mrs. Sarumi is back on the line. Hello, ma.
Yes, you said what should be in place. I can't really hear you well. I might need you to move closer.
All right.
To the microphone.
All right. I said in your view, what practical framework do you think should be in place to ensure that, large public projects of this nature undergo proper public scrutiny and reflect transparency both in cost and impact? How can the people, the public, come in to properly scrutinize things like this? I don't know if you understand the question there.
You mean for the money to still be used to renovate the government?
No, not at all. I'm saying what practical framework should be in place to ensure that a project of this nature, the public can also properly scrutinize it, as against what we're getting now.
That would be difficult, my brother. That would be very, very difficult. There's no how you can justify it. A contractor can come and tell you he's going to use XYZ equipment or things that have been brought from Europe. Another one will come and say, I'm going to use the one from China. So when it comes to those type of things, you can't really, and who are we to question and go and arrive there and say who made the bidding, which contractor is going to do it. I'm not even concerned about all that. All I would like, and I'm sure many Oyo State residents would like, is for His Excellency to revert that and not to spend 63.4 billion on renovating the government house. Simple as ABC. Because if you go and check that video, over 40,000 people have watched it, viewed it, and if you see the intelligent comments that came from it, and it is obvious that the people are wiser and the people demand proper accountability and good governance. We need leaders who will assist us to be able to feed our family. We're not asking you to give us benefits, money every day. We're asking you to show us how we can make our own money. I can tell you what the amount of money can do. So many programs it can be done. I assist people and register their businesses. How much do I spend? Less than 50K to register their businesses with CAC if it's a company liability. Imagine many people that need that the government can pay for as well. And you draw them back into the tax net. If the people know that your policies and your programs are for the people, if you tell them to contribute 1,000 naira every month into the tax net, they will do it because they know that the money is coming back to them. That's how they do in developed countries. People pay their taxes there because they know the money is going to benefit them in healthcare, education, roads, anything, everything while they are living in that country. So we need him to stop that matter. We do not need any renovation of any government house. They have not lived there in 6 years. Him and the deputy governor have lived in their own homes. They've collected housing allowance for their own homes, furniture allowance for their own homes. So why would you now start this when you know you are leaving in 2 years' time, sir? It's not needed. Please. I've done my own for the people. It's left to the people to continue to demand what's right for them.
What's right for them. Mr. Bassa, let me ask you very quickly before I let you go. Is it appropriate for the governor and the deputy governor to stay outside of the government house? That's number one. Number two would be, I've seen I saw your handle and I see that it's pointing us back to 2027, which means you will be contesting again in 2027. If this government house do not eventually get the renovation and the people's, comment or the outcry of the people eventually pull through, is this a place you would also like to live in with the current state? Let me get you your thought on that very quickly.
Thank you. So firstly, when His Excellency assumed office, the first thing they should have done is begin to work on those buildings. Every governor is supposed to live in their government housing. Even if you have to do it in phases. For the first 1 year, you renovate your own building and the deputy governor's building. The second year, you move to the main hall. I can assure you, out of the whole government house, the only functional places they would use is probably their homes, the hall where they will meet people, a conference room, and then the chapel and the mosque. Those are the important places you need in the whole government house. So if you have to do it in phases, you do it in phases. And like I said, you have a lot of companies that will key into it and say, yes, they would love to support you as CSR. Or contractors who have been collecting contracts from the state government, they've been making nice profits. So what will it cost them to dump some of their profits in renovating some of the buildings as well? I would look for ways to be prudent so that I will save the money and use the money back for the people. We need to have a country or a state where we can go into a hospital and be treated before they ask you for your card money. We need schools where our children can learn without the roof, rain falling on their heads while they are learning. His Excellency has done well in the area of paying wages. I've always said all the good things about him. I'll continue to talk about it. But when I see something bad, Bassa, I'm going to talk about it because Excellency doesn't pick his call from me. So, of course, if I do a video, you will see it and you will know that, okay, Bassa is making sense. He will call his people to order and tell them we don't need to waste this money on this project. He has been prudent, and that's what I know him for, and I would like him to continue to be such a leader for us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bassa. Thank you for your time, for joining us on the show. And I hope someday I'll also have you in the studio. I hope to have you in the studio someday so we can have a broader conversation. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much. All right. Ejak Badawale, Oloye Sani, Ile Ìjọba. Currently, báyìí, Gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé àti igbákejì wọn gbé ní ilé ìjọba. It has been established that ilé ara wọn ni wọ́n ń gbé. Nítòótọ́ ó ṣe pàtàkì láti fẹ́ ṣèyàn bákan pé gómìnà ọjọ́ mélòó ló kù kí ló dé tẹ́ fẹ́ ná àdúró owó yìí àti pé nígbà tá a pa 65.2 ní internally generated revenue ní 2024 ní 2025 báyìí àwa fẹ́ ná 63.4 tá àti ìmọ̀ iye tá a pa ní ọdún 2025 àmọ́ ṣé ó bá òfin mu kí gómìnà gbé ní ilé ara wọn nígbà tán bá wà níjọba torí mo mọ̀ pé ìyẹn náà ó wà lára àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà ń ta pé ṣé mọ̀ ẹlòmíà ni àwọn ò tiẹ̀ mọ̀ látijọ́ ìgbà tábà gbàgòdì kọjá àṣìrán ọlọ́pàá ń bẹ̀ náà ìyẹn ti fi hàn pé bóyá gómìnà wà ń bẹ̀ àmọ́ ṣó ó ṣe pàtàkì ṣó bá òfin mu pé ó yẹ kí gómìnà gbé ní ilé ìjọba.
òfin ò sọ̀rọ̀ bóyá kí gómìnà gbé bẹ́ẹ̀ kí gómìnà má gbé bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n jẹ́ kí iṣẹ́ ìjọba rọrùn náà ṣe níbi kan máa gbé bẹ́ẹ̀ fi wò báyìí pé ká ní gómìnà wà láti Ṣakí ṣé gómìnà ló máa sun Ṣakí àwọn Ṣàgòdì láràárọ̀ wọn náà ṣe níbi kí gómìnà máa gbé ní ilé ìjọba kí ibi tẹ́ ń jẹ́ ilé ìjọba rèé o tá fẹ́ rí gómìnà bẹ̀rẹ̀ kẹ́ lọ tẹ́wádẹ́ ìwò náà kò jìnnà sí iléeṣẹ́ ìjọba náà wọ́n fẹ́ fi ẹ̀gbẹ́ kan ẹ̀gbẹ́ ni. ṣùgbọ́n ilé gómìnà gangan òfin gbogbo ara jìnnà síbẹ̀ yẹn àǹfààní tí gómìnà jẹ tí gómìnà fi ń gbé ilé ara ẹ̀ ẹ ká sọ̀rọ̀ lórí bóyá iye táyà fi tún ilé ìjọba ṣe yẹn bóyá ẹ̀kọ́ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ nínú ìwòye tèmi kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ tó dá kan ọ̀nà mẹ́wàá kan tán náà yẹn.
ẹ sá wò ṣé àwọn pé àwọn èèyàn sọ àwọn èèyàn ń kọ́lé ó ní iye táwọn ra cement ní bí ọdún kódà lọ́dún tó kọjá ó ní iye tó jẹ́.
ìbéèrè kan tí mo fẹ́ dáhùn lẹ́ẹ̀kan tí mi ò dáhùn tẹ́ fi ti sí ìyá wa tí ẹ bá sọ̀rọ̀ yìí ìbéèrè yẹn dẹ̀ ni wípé ṣé ọ̀nà wo ni àwa olùfẹ́ gbà yẹ ìjọba lọ́wọ́ wò lórí àwọn kan tí wọ́n ń ṣe.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
ẹ ṣe méjèèjì náà ọwọ́ wa ló padà sí nǹkan tí gómìnà ń ṣe yìí ò bá ẹ̀mí lójijì bàtà fẹ́ ṣètò ìdìbò ní 2022-2023 gómìnà gbé àwọn gbèsè kan nígbà tí wọ́n sọ pé eléyìí takò sí ó takò nǹkan tí ìjọba wàràwà gbé kalẹ̀ gómìnà ló lọ sí Àbújá fúnra rẹ̀ gómìnà ló lọ kó fọ́ọ̀mù PDP wá fún àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ gbogbo àwọn tó wà ní house lẹ́ni yìí o gómìnà ló gba fọ́ọ̀mù fún wọn irú àwọn ẹ̀bẹ́ yẹn ò lè láéláé gómìnà lọ́wọ́ wò ibi tó yẹ káwa ló ti fura nìyẹn pé nǹkan tí ò yẹ kó ṣẹlẹ̀ fẹ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ ẹ lè máa jẹ́ dodo kẹtù máa sọ dodo ibi tó ti di pé gómìnà ló ń gba fọ́ọ̀mù fẹ́nìkan ìwé ìdíje fẹ́nìkan yẹn ó yẹ ká ti fura pé nǹkan tí ò dá fẹ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ nìyẹn ṣùgbọ́n àwa gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ ìlú agbára ṣì wà lọ́wọ́ wa ààyè wà fún wa lábẹ́ òfin a ní ẹ̀tọ́ yẹn lábẹ́ òfin láti lọ sí iléeṣẹ́ ìjọba àti lọ́wọ́ gómìnà kí gọgọlẹ́ fi 63.4 billion naira ṣe torí kò yé mi bó tilẹ̀ kò kéré mọ́ ṣé mọ̀ aláwọn ọ̀rẹ́ tí wọ́n ń ralé talé gbogbo ẹ̀ àti ẹ̀ tún wo ẹ̀rọ ayélujára náà mo lè sọ fún yín pé ilé tó wọ́n jù Nàìjíríà lé ní báyìí agbègbè kan tó pè ní Banana Island ló wà Banana Island ẹ̀rí báyìí ìgbèrí wa ló wà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ àlùbámọ̀ tún mẹ́ ṣùgbọ́n káàkiri àgbáńlá ayé ó wà níbi ìkíní ìkejì ìkẹta ìpele karùn-ún káàkiri àgbáńlá ilẹ̀ tí wọ́n jù
ilẹ̀ Banana Island lẹ́kọ̀ọ́
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ilé tó dẹ̀ wọ́n jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ báyìí $20 million ni tẹ́ bá yí sí náírà bíi 31-32 billion náà fẹ́ fi ta
ṣó fẹ̀ tó ilé ìjọba ṣó tóbi tó ilé ìjọba.
nǹkan tí ilé yẹn ò ní la lè máa sọ kódà ibi tí wọ́n ń gbé ọkọ̀ ojú omi tó fi ń gbafẹ́ yacht sí ó wà ńbẹ̀ ilé ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ò níyẹn ó dẹ̀ ń lọ fún $20 million gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ dẹ̀ fẹ́ fi bíi $42 million tún ilé tó ti wá ń jókòó ṣe ṣẹ́rìpọ̀ tako làákà ibi ọ̀rọ̀ àbáwá kan tó máa ń pè wọlé làwa ṣe ń sọ pé gómìnà ẹjọ́ ẹ bá wa wá nǹkan ṣe sí kíní yìí kò betí mu gómìnà gan dẹ̀ sọ ní ilé aṣòfin ilé aṣòfin gbogbo àwọn tó wà ń bẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú PDP ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú gọ́vùnà náà ti wá gbogbo wọn dẹ̀ gómìnà ló kó ìwé ìdíje lé wọn lọ́wọ́ wọn lè sọ wípé ó ṣe bákan kò ṣe bákan àwa fúnra lè máa fẹnu ara wa sọ̀rọ̀ wípé gómìnà kíní yìí kò rí bó ṣe yẹ kó ṣe rí 64.3 billion láti fi tún ilé tó ti jókòó sílẹ̀ ṣe àwọn gómìnà tó ti lọ tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ ìtí gómìnà tó wà bẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ gbàṣẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ kò fi gbogbo ara sùn bẹ̀ yẹn asunlẹ̀ lóríyọ̀lẹ̀ asunbẹ̀ díẹ̀ asunlẹ̀ lóríyọ̀lẹ̀ asunbẹ̀ díẹ̀ ó ń ti bọnú ara wọn ni àlàfíbọ̀ ló fi ṣe iṣẹ́ dẹ̀ ń lọ ń gbà yẹn wọn dáwọ́ṣẹ́ dúró gómìnà jẹ́ta olóògbé ará Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ ibẹ̀ làwọn ti ẹgbẹ́ àfitàbà sí Ìbàdàn nìkan náà fi bẹ̀ iṣẹ́ dẹ̀ ń lọ ń bẹ̀ rúgbẹ́ dẹ̀ ń lọ ń gbà yẹn kò sí nǹkan kan tí ó halẹ̀ mọ́ wọn bẹ̀ ìtò débẹ̀ náà débẹ̀ ó gbé bẹ̀ lọ ẹ̀yìn kan dé para ẹ̀kúrò ń bẹ̀ ti ẹ̀gbẹ́ bẹ̀ rárá fún ọdún mẹ́fà ó wá kó ọdún kò tiẹ̀ bọ́ ọdún méjì mọ́ ó kù ọdún kan àti oṣù mélòó kan tẹ́ máa lọ ẹ wá lẹ́fẹ̀ẹ́ fi 63.4 legacy kọ́ yẹn ẹni tó bá ń lọ lórí ìbò tó fi legacy sílẹ̀ á jẹ́ nǹkan tí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ ìlú máa jàǹfààní ìyẹn ló ń jẹ́ parting legacy bí mo ti ń lọ ẹ máa fi lè ṣe ìrántí mi ṣùgbọ́n nǹkan tẹ́ fẹ́ gbé kalẹ̀ yẹn pẹ̀lú owó tẹ́ fẹ́ gbẹ̀kẹ̀mbẹ̀ pẹ̀lú owó tá a pa nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ní ọdún tó lọ orí kan péré lẹ fẹ́ jẹ́ kó máa jàǹfààní ẹ̀ nínú bí orí 7 million tó wà lọ́yọ́ state kò yé mi.
Tá bá fẹ́ sọ lóòótọ́ béèyàn gba ìwájú Agodi mo ṣe máa débi tí màá bẹ̀rẹ̀ pé sẹ́yìn ti wọnú ilé yẹn rí ilé mélòó ló jókòó nú ẹ̀ kò ṣe páwọn ilé yẹn ga tẹ́ páwọn èèyàn lè rórí wọn láti ta pé ṣùgbọ́n béèyàn gbẹ̀gbẹ́ bó fẹ́ gbà já sí secretariat lọ́hùn á rí i pé ilẹ̀ yẹn gùn díẹ̀ àmọ́ èyí tó máa jump at us bí èdè lóyìnbó ò ní pé ìtayín òwòjú rí bó ṣe yẹ kó rí àwọn ògiri yẹn ń ṣe ló dà pé funfun nígbà kan ṣùgbọ́n ó ti dàwọ̀ míì báyìí ìyẹn fi hàn sẹ́yìn gbà pé àtúnṣe yẹ kó wà sí ilé yẹn ṣùgbọ́n iye owó tó wà ń bẹ.
èmi nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí pé kí nǹkan kó a máa ṣòfò ohun ìní ìjọba nìyẹn ohun ìní àwa ará ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ nìyẹn kò yẹ kó máa ṣòfò ó yẹ kó ṣe é máa rí ní gbogbo ìgbà ni àwọ̀ ọbẹ̀ ò dá nǹkan tó dẹ̀ mú àwọn àwọ̀ yẹn wá dáa ni wípé wọn ọ̀nà ní wọn fún ọdún mẹ́fà
maintenance
káná ti ń ṣe díẹ̀ fún ọdún mẹ́fà ni ọdún kan wọ́n lè má nàjú 50 million lórí ẹ̀ tá a wọ ọbẹ̀ gangan lóòótọ́ 50 million á dẹ̀ dúró rí bó ṣe rí gẹ́lẹ́ ní ṣùgbọ́n ẹ pàtì fọdún mẹ́fà ẹ wá jí lójijì nígbà tí
tá a bá ṣírò 50 million yẹn times ọdún mẹ́fà àti ẹ̀ wá sọ pé bí i 50 billion ni ó tún ṣe lóòótọ́ 300 million yẹn tí o tiẹ̀ tí wọ bílíọ̀nù.
tí o ti wọ bílíọ̀nù kan. o ṣe ọmọ yẹn sọ fún yín pé owó tó yẹ fi túbọ̀ yẹn ṣe gangan kódà kó jẹ́ àwọn tó kọ́ White House wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ gba ìdá mẹ́wàá owó tí gómìnà láfẹ́ fi tún ṣe kò yé mi bọ́yẹn fẹ́ ná.
ẹ jẹ́ ń ṣe ojú òpó sílẹ̀.
á dùn mọ́ mi sí gómìnà olúwa tí wọ́n á lè pè wọlé àbí kó ṣàlàyé bọ́yẹn fẹ́ ná fún wa gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń sọ wọ́n ní dọ́là. gbà tí mò ń ṣàlàyé lẹ́ẹ̀kan yẹn tẹ́ bá wò mò ń sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn pẹ̀lú náírà mo tún sọ pẹ̀lú dọ́là ni gbà tí mò ń sọ bí wọ́n tó ń ṣe yẹn ẹ ká tún rìn síwájú díẹ̀ sí lórí nǹkan tí owó lè ṣe ẹ lè pe nọ́mbà ká tún máa ṣe tiwa.
ẹ jẹ́ fi nọ́mbà síta fún àwọn aráalé tó ń bá fẹ́ bá wa dá sétò yìí ojú wo lẹ́yìn fi wo ọ̀rọ̀ yìí gan orí ètò ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ òun náà la wà ọ̀rọ̀ bó ṣe ń lọ ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àti bí àtúnṣe bó ṣe máa bá òun la máa ń sọ lórí ètò yìí ọ̀rọ̀ ìta mẹ́nulé lọ́sàn-án yìí òun ni ti ilé ìjọba tí gómìnà ní wọ́n á ṣe àtúnṣe sí ti iye owó tí gómìnà fi síta ìyẹn ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ 63.4 billion naira owó ìdẹ́rẹ́ káàkiri lọ́rọ̀ tí ń jà rànràn lórí ẹ̀ pé ó pọ̀ jù kò ń ṣe nírú àsìkò yìí tí iṣẹ́ pọ̀ ńlẹ̀ fún wa ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ 0916-893-1000 0915-3334-893 tàbí 0911-3-893 0916-893-1000 tàbí 0915-3334-893 bẹ́ẹ̀ náà lẹ lè pè 0911-3-893 àwọn ojú òpó tí ẹ lè fi bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ nìyẹn tí ẹ̀yin bá fẹ́ dá sí ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà ńlẹ̀ nípa owó tí a fẹ́ fi tún ilé mo ti ní tí a fẹ́ fi nítorí pé ilé ìjọba wa náà ni
tí ẹ̀yin fẹ́ fi tún
tí ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ fẹ́ fi tún ilé ìjọba ṣe. Let me take you to what Dr. Adedeji of the Federal Inland Revenue Service said. He also acknowledged the state's impressive achievement in revenue generation, noting that 145% growth in its revenue profit since 2019 and a 2024 internally revenue generated performance of 65.28 billion, placing Oyo among the top 10 states in the country, doing that particular figure. You expressed disappointment as to this particular figure of 6.28. I want us to digress a bit to talk about that figure in itself. Dr. Adedeji says Oyo is part of the top 10 states in the country, doing that figure, which kind of looks good if we look at 36, states of the Federation. But let me get your, thought in and how you think or why you think Oyo should be doing better. What are the things on ground? Torí ká sọ pé orú owó yìí fún 2024 à ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa bóyá 100 billion naira tí ìjọba Ọ̀yọ́ láwọn fẹ́ fi 63.4 tún ilé ṣe bóyá kò bá má sọ̀rọ̀ ńbẹ̀ but as against the revenue in 2024 and 2025 kò fẹ́ jọra wọn dáadáa ẹ jẹ́ àwọn ojú táyìn fi wọ̀rọ̀.
owó tó lé ní 100 billion nínú òye tèmi ní gómìnà ti ná lọ́nà tí ò yé mi ti ilé 63.4 billion tí ìkejì 42 billion naira owó airport nínú òye tèmi kò kí gómìnà dá sí nǹkan bẹ́yẹn má dá ṣàlàyé fún yín.
èyí tó jẹ́ ti airport yẹn àbí.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ohun ìní ìjọba àpapọ̀ ni kọ́bọ̀ kò láláì bọ́ sí àpò àsùnwọ̀n ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ orí olórí ni gómìnà ń fa nígbà tí wọ́n dẹ́kun mọ́ gómìnà lórí kódà owó tó fi ń wọlé síbẹ̀ ṣẹ̀wọ̀n tó fẹ́ wọnú àwọn airport wa káàkiri Nàìjíríà wọn ní kẹsàn-án wọlé ẹnu ọ̀nà owó yẹn gan ò lè láíláí bọ́ sí àpò ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ìjọba àpapọ̀ ló ní gbogbo nǹkan kò ṣe gbọ́ bùkátà rẹ̀ tá bá ní pápákọ̀ òfurufú Ìbàdàn dá wàhálà ààrẹ nìyẹn kò kan gómìnà ẹ bá ká wá da owó yìí pọ̀ 100 billion ó tẹ̀lé 100 billion bẹ́ẹ̀ ká fi ṣe ní 100 billion. àwọn tó ń ṣe sólà lé ní ìbáyìí wọ́n á bí wọn pé tó bá pọ̀ bí ẹ lè negotiate 5 million fún 10 kVA 10 kVA 5 million tó bá pọ̀ 50 million bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ṣe ń gbọ́ mi o ẹ ti ṣe 50 kVA nìyẹn àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ tẹ́ bá lọ sí 1 billion ẹ máa ti ń súnmọ́ 1,000 ẹ máa ti ń súnmọ́ 1 megawatt gbogbo náà tí IBDC dẹ̀ fi ránṣẹ́ sí Ìbàdàn 85 megawatt gómìnà ló fẹ́ràn rẹ̀ sọ ní nǹkan bí oṣù mélòó kan sẹ́yìn pé Ìbàdàn wọ́n fi 85 megawatt ránṣẹ́ sí Ìbàdàn lójoojúmọ́ tẹ́ bá ná 85 billion lórí ìyẹn ṣe é pé ẹ ti ṣe times 2 nǹkan tó wà ní Ìbàdàn lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí nìyẹn iná lọ káàkiri tí iná bá lọ káàkiri iléeṣẹ́ á pọ̀ sí àwọn agbègbè tí torí mi ò gbàgbọ́ pé Ìbàdàn nìkan ló ń jẹ́ Ọ̀yọ́ state àwọn olùpọ̀ rẹ̀ kẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ̀ iná máa tàn káàkiri gbogbo Ọ̀yọ́ state tó bá tún wá jẹ́jọba ló tún wá ń ṣe gan-an tó bá wọn tẹ̀sí lọ kó nǹkan wá fúnra ara wọn láti òkè òkun ó ṣeé ṣe kó má tó iye tá à ń sọ yìí 100 billion ẹgbẹ́ yẹn pẹ̀lú iye tó ti yẹn ń ṣe lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí bíi 100 megawatts nìyẹn tẹ́ bá gbé yẹn kalẹ̀ sí Ìbàdàn lé níbẹ̀ àwọn iléeṣẹ́ máa forí nara wọn láti wá sí Ìbàdàn ni tó bá dọdún tó ń bọ̀ VAT yìí ṣe bá sọ láti 2019 aṣọ 145% wọ 2025 ọdún kan àájú yẹn lọ torí ìwó máa wọlé iléeṣẹ́ máa pọ̀ rẹ́kẹrẹ́kẹ́ àwọn tó ń fẹsẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ káàkiri lọ́yọ̀ state kò ní sí yẹn mọ́ torí wàhálà àná gangan ni wàhálà tó bá iléeṣẹ́ Nàìjíríà tí gómìnà bá ná 100 billion sí yẹn ọ̀rọ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ state ayípadà lójú ẹsẹ̀ ni ṣùgbọ́n gómìnà ronú síbẹ̀ yẹn nǹkan tó máa ṣe àǹfààní orí kan péré nínú orí 7 million ni gómìnà fẹ́ kó owó tó fẹ́ gbẹ́kẹ̀gbẹ́ pẹ̀lú gbogbo owó tí gómìnà palábẹ́ lélẹ̀ lórí ó kù díẹ̀ káàtó.
mo béèrè ìbéèrè kan lẹ́ẹ̀kan mo ní kò ń ṣe nítorí ipò tẹ́yìn wà ó ṣeé ṣe kẹ́yìn ti wọnú ilé ìjọba yìí kò dẹ̀ ń ṣe gbogbo èèyàn nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló láǹfààní báwọn kìíní ṣe bàjẹ́ tó ilé ibi téèyàn ò gbé fọ́dún 6 ó ṣeé ṣe kó náà ti bàjẹ́ gidi gan iṣẹ́ lè fún wa ní àbíbò ló ṣe bàjẹ́ tó bóyá kí n béèrè.
ó ṣe díẹ̀ tí mo bẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n ilé mélòó gan ló wà ní ọgbà ọ̀hún ká ti bẹ̀yẹn bẹ̀rẹ̀ tẹ́ bá wọlé àwọn ilé mélòó kan mọ́ṣáláṣí ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì àti ilé gómìnà níbi òkè kan báyìí ló bá tán yìí ló kù adansọ 3.4 billion àníṣe nígbà tí èmi àtẹnìkan jọ ń sọ̀rọ̀ ó ní kódà kó jẹ́ presidential palace náà fẹ́ kọ́ wọn bẹ̀rẹ̀ máa dárò owó bẹ̀yẹn lé lórí.
ìyẹn bójú ọjọ́ ṣe rí báyìí gan.
pẹ̀lú bójú ọjọ́ àníṣe òṣè rí ẹ má yẹ ká máa fi gbé náírà rí bákan máa tura wa lójú.
ó ṣeé ṣe ká máa sọ̀rọ̀ náírà pẹ̀lú bó ṣe rí báyìí náà.
ó mo ṣe dá padà sí náírà sí dọ́là tí mo dẹ̀ sọ yẹn tí wọ́n ń talé fún yín lu òyìnbó tí wọ́n ti ń ná dọ́là yẹn gangan àti iye tí wọ́n ẹ̀ka tẹ̀ tí wọ́n padà wá sílé nìbàdàn UCH ń bẹ̀ yẹn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ jáde kan ní UCH ó wà ní ìlú òyìnbó báyìí Amẹ́ríkà ló wà ó lóun fẹ́ kọ́ ilé gbé fáwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ní UCH ọ̀gbẹ́ni yìí ń jẹ́ Peter Ozua ó ti kọ́ síbẹ̀ Peter Ozua Hall náà wà ní UCH báyìí tẹ́tẹ̀lé Alexander Brown nìkan náà ní wọ́n ti ní ẹlòmíì gan tuntun wá èmi máa ń fẹ́ràn ìlara abo ó ṣe lè èmi náà ṣe tèmi ẹlòmíkan ti ń kọ́ tiẹ̀ lọ́lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ báyìí nínú UCH yẹn náà akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ jáde lọ́wọ́ náà bẹ́ẹ̀ ìjẹ́mi tó fi kọ́ all of residence bó ṣe máa ń ga tó ṣe máa ń tóbi tó bó ṣe máa ń fẹ̀ tó $1 million tó já sí 1.5 billion náà fi kọ́ all of residence tí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ máa jàǹfààní ẹ̀ 1.5 billion kẹwàá wo sòsòsòsò kẹlẹ́ fẹ́ fi 63.4 billion kọ́ ilé kan tá a fi sórí ẹ̀ nìkan péré nínú kọ́ta bá ń ṣe ká máa bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run.
The commissioner said the council also approved the sum of 131 million naira, 751,530 naira to employ professional gardeners, àwọn tí ó máa gé koríko, and the green areas, other designated places of the government house. Igbókun bọ̀yẹn lóòótọ́. Èmi ṣe gbàbẹ̀ ní bí ọjọ́ mẹ́ta sẹ́yìn. Bí mo ṣe gbàbẹ̀ náà mo tún wò pé ibi ìbàjẹ́ lóòótọ́ náà. Àbí ìta lèmi ń rí. Ìta yẹn tẹ bá gbára fẹ́ǹsì ẹ̀ ti rí pé ṣé lè jọba Ọ̀yọ́ rí eléyìí ó kù díẹ̀ káàtó.
Nǹkan tó bá mójútó ló ń dùn rí tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá mójútó á di nǹkan míì bó ṣe rí gẹ́lẹ́ nìyẹn. Nígbà tí mò ń ka nǹkan tí kọmíṣánná alákòóso fún ọ̀rọ̀ fún ìyànjú àti ìlanilọ́yẹ̀ l'Ọ́yọ́ State tó sọ wọ́n hàn pé kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ mo ń ka ọdún ẹ̀bọ̀ kò yé mi ibi tí mo ti pa ojú ìwé dé tí mi ti kà mọ́ ní pé wọ́n náà fi 130 million fi máa roko inú ọgbà lọ́dún kan.
ṣé ò ní fẹ́ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ náà lóye sọ.
ẹni sùúrù alákọ̀ọ́kọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba wà
tó jẹ́ pé iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n
ní ẹ bá dé
nìyẹn
sẹkítẹ́rìàtì lé nígbà chakachaka
tó jẹ́ òṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba làwọn o.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
àwọn ilé wọn ní professional gardeners bóyá ilé iṣẹ́ kan náà fẹ́ gbé fún.
ìtumọ̀ ẹ̀ náà nìyẹn ara nǹkan tá à ń sọ nìyẹn concession yìí náà ni public private partnership yìí náà ni nígbà tó jẹ́ pé àwọn tó wà lẹ́nu ilé iṣẹ́ ìjọba wà níbẹ̀ tó lè ṣe nílò wọn. a ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọgbà àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ mi ẹ lọ síbẹ̀ kódà ìjọba wọ̀gán ṣe wọ́n ní finance department wọ́n ní tax collectors wọ́n á tún ní wọ́n tún fẹ́ lọ gbé fún àwọn aráàta kan ìyá wọn máa mú ìdá kan ní owó tó yẹ kó lọ sí gbogbo ìlú. ara nǹkan tó jẹ́ kí ìlú débi tó dé yìí rèé gbogbo orílẹ̀-èdè àgbáyé tí wọ́n ní epo wọ́n.
ẹ jẹ́ mú pé hello ẹ káàsán o.
ẹ káàsán.
hello ẹ káàsán sá orúkọ yín àti bọ́lá ti ń pè wá.
olúwa ṣeun lèmi o.
láti bo.
mo ń pè láti Olúyọ̀lé.
láti Olúyọ̀lé ẹ ṣeun gan ó yẹ bá wa dá sótò.
ọ̀rọ̀ ó sọ sí lẹ́nu buyọ̀ sí mi. nígbà tí ọ̀gá wa Mákindé lọ́kọ̀ dórí àlefa ilé wọn ní kan lábàá lọ́kọ̀ọ́kọ́ ń gbé. wọn kọ̀ọ̀kan wo ló pé wọ́n fẹ́ kọ́ lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ tó yọrọ tí àwọn gómìnà bá ń bọ̀ nínú. ìgbàlódé lábẹ́ ṣàkóso àwọn ọmọ ìlọsàkó bọ̀. gbogbo àtọ́ mú ìrìn ọ̀rọ̀ fún ìpè ó yẹ kí wọ́n ti kọ́ ilé ọba tó yẹ. wọ́n á kọ́ ọdún méjì jẹ́ ọ̀kan ọdún méjì mọ̀ ń kọ́ ọdún kan àti oṣù mọ́kànlá. wọ́n rò pé ìgbà tó wá tọ́ yìí ní pé ìgbà ìjọba ní ẹ̀ka àwọn ìṣẹ̀ wa kọ́ ilé tó tọ́ fún gómìnà. ìyẹ́ ó díẹ̀ káàkiri ó dẹ̀ fi ọ̀gbọ́n gbàgbà ìgbà pé lórí wa kékeré sí wa gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè.
ojú òpó yẹn ò tọ́ ẹjọ́ ẹ pè wá padà ojú òpó yẹn orí bákan ẹjọ́ ẹ pè wá padà yín náà sì lè pè wá a sì ní bí ìṣẹ́jú mélòó kan láti lò sí lórí ètò 09168931000 bí ẹni tó pè lẹ́ẹ̀kan àwọn náà sọ̀rọ̀ pé ó kù bí ọdún mélòó kan gómìnà láwọn fẹ́ tún lé ìjọba ṣe ṣé tó bá jẹ́ pé irú owó yìí nígbà tí bí ìṣèjọba gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé nígbà tó ṣẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní irú owó ìjáde fún àtúnṣe ilé ìjọba ṣé irú ọ̀rọ̀ irú àwọn reaction tá à ń rí ṣé irú ẹ̀ wà ń ta. Hello
sir.
Yes ẹ káàsán o.
ẹ
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Orúkọ yín àti bọ́lá tí ń pè wá.
Orúkọ mi ni Alhaji Ọmọwálé láti Àpáta.
Láti Àpáta. Ó yá Alhaji ẹ̀ bá wa sọ̀rọ̀.
Yeah. Ṣé wọn? It's unfortunate pé ìfà àti gbọ́dọ̀ ìgbà tí mo gbọ́ ní ìṣẹ́ mo pè é pé ajẹ́ pé ọ̀rọ̀ ṣe ìdájú lówó dáadáa. Because àwọn ọ̀nà wa wà pé àwọn iná rò tí ò dára rárá tí ò sí rìn. Ṣé o gbọ́ ayé ọkọ̀ sílẹ̀ bàjẹ́ tán? Níbi lè pé wọn bá dà ìfà tí owó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí àwọn kan báyẹn. At least àwọn táwọn ajá ń gbé pọ̀rọ̀pọ̀rọ̀ wọn náà wọn fẹ́ dìbò gbọ́dọ̀ ti wọlé. Ṣé wọ́n bá dẹ̀ ṣe wọn ò ní ṣépè fún wọn wọ́n á ní tọ́sí nínú wọn ẹgbẹ́ fún lápẹ̀rẹ̀ kan nígbà tí gómìnà fẹ́ contest ní first time wọn fúnra gómìnà náà rìn láti Jericho lọ sí wire and cable sọ́dẹ̀ ti àdéhùn pé àwọn ò sí ọ̀nà yìí within 100 days in office ọdún kẹfà rèé kò sí nǹkan tó jẹ́ bá rí ọ̀nà yẹn kò sí ẹni tó lè kò sí ọkọ̀ tó lè rìn bẹ̀mọ́ láyé káwọn á ní ọ̀kadà. Tẹ̀wọ̀n irú àwọn oṣooṣù jẹ́ kí nígbà gbọ́ pé definitely Ọ̀yọ́ State lówó lọ́wọ́ nìyẹn kí n ṣe pé bóyá máa ń jìnnà sọ́ọ̀tì divert policy fún ṣe máa lọ ní ìsìn sáré náà débẹ̀ just like ẹni tó sọ alájìlẹ̀ náà bóyá sọ̀rọ̀ ẹjọ́ péréte ní gbé gọ́ọ̀mẹ́ntà ẹ̀wọ̀ aráàlú mílíọ̀nù sáà gbé ní tí ò dáa láti ẹ̀wọ̀n ọgbẹ́ àbàtìká for out of Ọ̀yọ́ State. So it is quite unfortunate. So mo lọ jẹ́ kí wọ́n sọ ní kí wọ́n yọ fẹ́ẹ̀ pé tí àwọn bá ṣe ibi táwọn bá kù sí àwọn ẹ̀dẹ̀ àti kọ̀rẹ́tẹ̀ tó nígbàgbọ́ pé ọlọ́jọ́ ká lè kọ̀rẹ́tẹ̀.
Ẹ ṣeun gan Alhaji láti Àpáta. Ẹ ṣeun gan Alhaji fún wípé mo béèrè ìbéèrè kan kálàjì tó pè wọlé pé tó bá jẹ́ pé gbà tí ìṣèjọba iṣẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ ní irú owó báyìí jáde síta ṣé nǹkan tá à ń sọ yìí náà la máa sọ.
Dandan ni ẹ lè fi 63.4 billion ẹ fi tún lè ṣe nígbàkigbà kémi ni mo fẹ́ fara mọ́ kódà kó jẹ́ ọjọ́ kìíní tẹ́lẹ̀ wọlé ẹ̀wọ̀ iṣẹ́ ìjọba owó yẹn ò jọra wọn. Ó yẹ kí gómìnà ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ lórí ẹ̀ tipẹ́tipẹ́ kí bẹ̀yẹn dùn rí kò tiẹ̀ ṣe é yan gangan àmọ́ bí àwọn ilé ìjọba àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ tó kù ṣe rí káwá wọ tìpínlẹ̀ tí wọn kó wá rí bákan pẹ́ ṣùgbọ́n owó tọ́nà fẹ́ fi ṣe yìí ó kọlù làákàyè.
Ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC lójú ìwé ìròyìn Punch àwọn ti sọ̀rọ̀ síbẹ̀ báyìí lọ́sàn-án yìí cancel your 63.5 billion naira government house renovation plan. Ọ̀yọ́ APC tells Governor Makinde. Ẹ jẹ́ òbí àlìsáré mú pé kàfikásẹ̀ ńlẹ̀. Hello.
Hello sir.
Yes sir. Ẹ káàsán orúkọ yín àti bọ́lẹ̀ tí ń pè.
Mr. Tony láti Odò Ọ̀nà.
Tony láti Odò Ọ̀nà. Ẹ káàsán. Ó yẹ bá wa dá sètò.
Owó yẹn pọ̀. Owó yẹn ti pọ̀ jù. Bíríìjì lásán ni àlàyé ṣe nígbà tó wà láyé táwọn èèyàn ń pariwo púpọ̀. Ilé náà fẹ́ tún ṣe báyìí o. Owó yẹn ti pọ̀ jù. Irú owó yẹn gan àwọn kan wà tán tí rí nǹkan kan jẹ. Kán kó fáwọn àgbẹ̀ gan wọn á rí nǹkan fi ṣe náà. Owó yẹn ti pọ̀ jù o.
Ẹ ṣeun gan Tony láti Odò Ọ̀nà olóyè sọ ni ẹ bá kásẹ̀ ńlẹ̀ ká máa lọlé.
Ní àkótán a sọ fún gómìnà bí gómìnà kan dúró lórí wọ́n fẹ́ tún bẹ̀yẹn ṣe ó dábàá yẹn fẹ́ tún ṣe ṣùgbọ́n owó yẹn ò kí wọ́n já wálẹ̀ jọjọ kí wọ́n já wálẹ̀ pátápátá tẹ́bí táwọn kan bá bẹ tán fẹ́ fi ṣe àníbẹ̀ eléyìí obi ti mọ̀.
Ẹ ṣeun gan olóyè sọ ni fún àsìkò yín pé a pè yín ẹ̀dẹ̀ jẹ́ wa thank you so much.
Iṣẹ́ ìlú ni kò ṣe máa ṣe.
Ẹ ṣeun gan jẹ́ kọ́kọ́ tún fi àsìkò yín náà dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Mrs. Bọ́láńlé Sàrùmí obìnrin àkọ́kọ́ tó kọ́kọ́ gbé ìgbàpá àwọn adi gómìnà ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àwọn náà bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ètò yìí àwọn náà dẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ síta ohùn wọn náà jọ tiyín lórí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí pé kí ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ kán tún wò kán dẹ̀ ṣàtúnṣe níbi ilẹ̀ àti máa padà sílé lónìí lórí ètò ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ ṣeun gan tí ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa ibi tó bá dẹ̀ tún dé we'll continue keep tracking the stories and ensure that we get back at you and we continue the conversation. But remember, the goal is to ensure that Oyo is a better place for all of us to live in. Not to call anybody names, not to drag the governor, not to drag anybody, but to ensure that when we see issues, the public, citizens of Oyo, also have a part of it. And I believe that that's what makes democracy, very interesting and more inclusive for all. Thank you so much. God bless you.